So today I just wanted to make a video about things that people might not understand when it comes to these driving and delivering jobs. So this may seem obvious to you, but tipping is pretty important in this gig style kind of thing where the person is delivering to you, whether it be food or maybe other things. It's important for you to tip people because oftentimes they're not receiving some kind of hourly rate. Now I know there are companies, I want to say Grubhub, that make sure that you're receiving a certain amount of money per hour. And if you're not making that certain amount, they will add on to your rate. Companies like Instacart, however, don't do that. You make whatever you make, and if your customer decides to completely remove their tip, they're allowed to do that. I one time had someone remove $30 off of their tip because I don't know why, actually. I remember the delivery went perfectly smoothly, and it didn't affect me that much because I am not trying to pay my rent. I'm not trying to pay for anything for anyone else in my family because my parents still support me in most ways. So I have a job for other reasons, but there are people where Instacart is their main thing and they support their family with it. So I think that for people to be allowed to and think it's okay to just remove a huge tip or even a small tip is just not really acceptable. And if you have an issue with the order, if they didn't give you all the items, that's something that Instacart can actually help you with. They can refund you for those items. And then that money is being taken from Instacart, a huge company with lots of money, and not a singular person who's trying to support themselves and potentially others. So there's not a lot more to say about tipping other than that. Honestly, if you don't do it, it does make it hard. Today, yes, this is kind of what inspired this video. I just had an experience with someone today that it really broke me down. And, it was really humbling to just realize, okay, I'm really not in control of this situation. No one is. God is in control of this situation. So I was trying to deliver to someone and they gave me their address and I showed up there and I said, I'm right next to where it says you are. And they said, oh, you did not read the delivery instructions. That's not where I am. You need to read the delivery instructions. So I did. I went there and I waited around for quite a while. They said, oh, I'm coming, blah, blah, blah. Because I've learned from a whole nother story, you can't leave stuff unattended. Food, whatever it is. And so I waited and I talked to them on the phone, and it was quite a while before I figured out that they had given me the wrong address and the directions didn't really make any sense. So I pretty much just started walking. I picked up all the groceries, just started walking around the parking garage, walking outside, because I didn't really know what else I could do. And the person was like, oh, I see you. And so I assumed they would start walking towards me, but they actually walked back to wherever it was they were, and I just started almost running towards them with the groceries because I didn't know what else to do. And they got a little frustrated with me. They were like, well, why didn't you come over in your car and stuff? But really there was nowhere for me to pull over and pull off, and I would have had to load the groceries back in the car after I'd already scanned them and made sure I had the exact right ones because this was a multiple person delivery. I kind of gave in the situation. Okay, here, yeah, I'm losing money, I'm losing gas money because that person did not tip me. And I think that having those experiences every once in a while are probably good for growing experiences, but it's also good for customers to understand that while we're trying to deliver your groceries, find out where you are, we are also losing money on our end, and we're losing time as well, not only theirs. So if people would be able to give their accurate locations or addresses or even directions that make sense to where they are, that would just be so helpful. They are able to see our location, and I think they think that we're able to see theirs, but unfortunately we're not actually able to see their personal location. So say if you're ordering something from Amazon, you wouldn't say, oh, it's okay, just deliver somewhere in my area. It's the kind of the same thing with groceries. Don't just give them an approximate location because they are told they have to deliver directly to you, and oftentimes they're supposed to actually physically see you and connect with you. So I think that I learned from that situation today, but it's definitely become more and more often, especially when I'm delivering to younger people who I don't think quite understand that. When I say younger people, I mean that's people my age or older or younger. So I'm sure that I could make the same mistake if I was ordering delivery. There's a house that's kind of down the street from me that has this similar address. Like, it seems like it's on the same street as me, but it's technically not, and people get confused. So we should definitely clarify that in the future if we ever order delivery, just so that we're not wasting other people's time and money and, you know, wasting their emotional energy on it. Another thing that this might be specific to Instacart, but I think people, when they are rating shoppers, think that they are rating Instacart as a whole and not just their specific shopper. So I've received ratings before that were for things that were completely out of my hands, such as 6 inches of snow, nowhere to leave the groceries, so there was snow surrounding the groceries, or getting stuck in someone's driveway. That was a whole ordeal. Out of stock items is a very common one. So I really hope that people understand that things like that are really out of the shopper's hands, and that's why they are able to give a separate rating if they want to leave that for Instacart. Because the thing is, I was reading an article recently about how a shopper who was a single mom supporting her family was given a really low rating because of one item. Something went wrong with that one item, and her paycheck weekly was cut in half because of that one rating. So not only is that affecting her and her paycheck, but that could potentially be affecting her children and, you know, her children's lives. I mean, I'm so grateful that I don't have to worry about that, but there are people out there who that money is very important to them. So it's really important to consider what rating you're giving your delivery person, because it could affect them more than you even realize. I mean, just last week, I did a delivery to a woman who did not really give a correct location. The address that was on the building was not matching with the address that Instacart gave me. And so I called her and told her, you know, is there any way you can come down? She was just like, just leave it wherever you are. And I felt like that was kind of weird because I was like, I don't know how she's gonna find it. So I just left it. And I sent her a picture of where I left it, and it was close to this building that I was pretty sure was correct. And then I woke up the next day, I had gotten an email that that customer had to be refunded. I received no tip, and they had reported me as basically stealing the groceries, not delivering them. And then they gave me 1 star, which, I mean, I could get over the 1 star, but it was a lot to deal with. I ended up actually driving back to that location because I remembered where it was the next morning, and I found remnants of the groceries. So it looked like someone had potentially stolen them from the night before. I'm not really sure. That never really got worked out as it should have. Instacart never removed that 1 star for me, which they said that they would. I have screenshots of proof. So also, it's probably not very common that Instacart shoppers are completely stealing your groceries. If you've heard of this happening, please let me know. I'm honestly curious. That's kind of scary. But accusing someone of stealing is pretty serious. So I wouldn't just do that willy-nilly. And then I think the kicker was I delivered to her 2 days later, and she had a more accurate location. So I was able to find her and deliver to her. And it was definitely hard to, you know, be very polite, considering she had definitely caused a lot of frustration on my end, if you know what I mean. I think something else that's important to consider is that food readiness is not really something that is in the hands of the deliverer. So let's say I'm picking up something from Steak and Shake or Chick-fil-A. I can't hardly control the temperature of that food if I just received the order and I'm sitting here at home and I have to drive 10 minutes to get it and then 10 minutes to you. You know, you can put things in insulators, but that's only gonna do so much. Trust me, we're not dilly-dallying. Like, there would be no reason for me to sit around and twiddle my thumbs instead of delivering your food. So to back this up, I last week had a gentleman tell me that he had gotten a text saying his Instacart groceries were ready at Schnucks, and then I didn't come till 2 hours later because he had such a small tip that they wanted to batch it with another batch that was in a similar area that also had a tip so that it would be more worth it for the driver. He did wait 2 hours for his groceries, and he was very frustrated with me and Instacart. So do understand that, especially if you're not tipping well, yeah, it's really hard to get groceries right to you when we're not given the orders until a few hours later. Maybe. It depends. I think that these things can carry forward to other professions as well. You know, you can't count on your waitress to serve you incredible food, and you can't punish her if the food is not great, because oftentimes it's completely out of their hands. The same thing goes with delivery. You know what? We aren't really able to control the quality of the food too much. Obviously, we need to pick out good produce and everything, but as if like you were going to the store, not everything is going to be perfect. We're not robots. Not that robots are perfect, but we are humans. We make mistakes. We have to allow for some mistakes to be made. And I try and just let people know, you know, it would be really great if you would be able to update where you are, just for current Instacart shoppers to be able to find you better. And honestly, I don't think people ever really listen, but it's okay. At least I tried. There are definitely more things to be said for shoppers and things that are out of their control, but those are just a few things that I think people forget about. You know, we aren't in control of the weather and the roads and traffic and road construction. Really, you cannot be frustrated with us if things take a little bit longer or if your groceries are wet. So do keep that in mind if you get delivery in the future. And thanks for watching this video. You know what? I think that I learned something from making it, and I'll miss you guys until I see you in my next video, which will probably be more happy.